Welcome back guys to the next video in our web scraping in Python series. In this video we are going to use urllib in order to import URL open function from Python, and then we are going to scrape a website practically. So let's get started, and I'll take you to my desktop. So yeah, now what I'll do, I'll open VS Code and I'll start a new Python file so that we can start working on it. And to begin with, what I'm going to do is I am going to write from url lib, and then I will ask for url function. So I'll write url lib request import url open. Now what this will do, it will request the Python to actually get the url open function. And once I have the url open function, what I'll do, I'll ask I'll basically ask it to go to a specific website. So let me have a website. I'll try to scrape this website, which is codes to scrape. The reason we are using codes to scrape is this is made only for actually learning scraping. So I'll just copy this URL and we will go back to our VS Code and paste it there. All right. So what I'll do next is I'll create a response function, and the purpose to create is this URL open should be able to access this URL. So I'll write URL open, and I have already stored the URL in the variable which is URL. So I'll write the name of this variable only here, and now I'll press enter. Now what I want to see before I start going into all the cumbersome tasks, whether this is actually able to access the URL or not. So I'll write what? I'll write print response status. Now I will be able to see if the response is coming 200. With that means it's a good status code and we are able to access the website, and then we can actually go on with our scraping and other parts of it. So what I'll do, I'll run this file, and in order to run this file I have to save this first. So I'll just write test scraping class and I'll just save this. Now I'll run this, and if you see here we have a status code which is 200. What does it mean? It means that we can go ahead and work. This is actually able to fetch the URL. Now what I'll do is I'll ask the response function content to be read. So, and I'll store it in a variable. So I'll use read function now. So I'll write content. This is the function I'm going to use to store what has been read, and I'll write read dot response. And what it will do, it will read all the HTML content. So we have it here. Now, oh sorry, this should be response dot read, because we are reading the response function, right? So it is going to be response. All right. So what next I'll do, I'll actually ask the decode. So basically what it will do, it will read the HTML content, and that will be in the bytes. So what I'll do, I'll ask it to read into string, so that we should be able to see how exactly the Unicode is working. So what I'll do, I'll write content. Otherwise we cannot even read what has been in the HTML content, because we are not able to decode it, right? We need to decode it before actually able to read it with our eyes. So what I'll do is this content decode UTF-8. That is a Unicode language that is can be read on each and every device also. So next what I'll do, I'll write print content. Why print content? Because we have read the bytes and decode them into Unicode. Now we need to read that, and in order to read that, or in order to see that, we needed to print it. So what I'll do, I'll again run this and we'll see if this is working. So I'll just get you the terminal, and if you see the terminal, we are able to scrape the website. So we will be removing these all tags which I talked about earlier in the classes, but we are able to scrape everything from the website now. All right, now what additional thing is, we can actually optimize these codes also. So we will optimize this. If I'll take this only, and from here, what if I'll use with, then we can actually optimize this better. So I'll just take this away, and then I'll show you how we optimize codes. So with URL open, I will open this URL back, and I will save it as response. Now what is happening is, within one line, it is not actually getting it stored in response in that way which we are doing. We were directly writing as response. Now next is save. I'll write content, and then I'll write respond dot read in order to read the content which we used earlier. And another thing, what I'll print. Now while printing, I can say print content and decode at the same time. Decode and then Unicode. So UTF-8, which is the Unicode, and then it will be closed. Now let's see this is working in the similar in the similar way or not. So yeah, let's just run it. So see, in this way we are able to get the same results, but while using only fewer lines of code. This is how you optimize things. Now coming back to the most important thing here, urllib library is not used right these days in Python because of its interface, and Python itself does not recommend to use it. We are use more advanced version of it. We use HTTPS requests and Ohio and other ways, which I'll talk about in the upcoming videos. But urllib is not recommended and is not used today in the modern world. However, it was most important to understand how exactly web scraping works, so that you don't actually missed on the basics. Yeah, I think that is all for this video. I'll see you in the next one.